hopefully this is going now. Seems it's kind of lag. Is it going? Okay, let me be a little bit of lag. Well, what can you do? So today is Sunday, the 24th of September. Already gotten into fall, come and gone. So today I'm going to be working on my Space Marine costume. I have gotten around to priming the shoulder pieces and the pants section. There's a bunch of other parts that are already kind of in progress, so not really referring to those, but I'm still going to have to go back and kind of touch up some spots and some things like that. So today is just going to be me pretty much just painting on live stream. Why not? Haven't made a video for a while. Been kind of avoiding making anything because of working on trying to get this in progress, or in motion. So I'm going to I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna share the link around, and then we're gonna start painting. And I'm probably gonna put on some music or something, so that way it's not gonna be like just dull silence and looking at me going for like an hour. So what I'm thinking of doing, I went over to Dollarama, so it's just like a dollar store, picked up some cheap acrylic paints. I have coated the parts in a chalkboard paint, so it's that's what it's sealed with. Let's first send the link to Obscurus Crusade, because none of this could have gotten off the ground without them. So I'm going to share this here in the Obscurus Crusade Facebook page. Give them a visit if you want to figure out how to make your own costume, or you just want to see a bunch of people's costumes. Go to Obscurus Crusade. I'll try to put a link after in post. Alright, so they're pretty important for this project and for making Space Marine costumes. They also make like Master Chief costumes and all sorts of different things. I think that they've been doing that for the last few years at least, but I digress. Now I'm going to share it to a fan site for Games Workshop, another excellent group on Facebook. Now, where else would we want to be putting these? We've got, let's see. I'm going to put it in the Icon group. Icon is an anime convention in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Takes place during, I think it's June or July. So they're an interesting convention. It's Icon, the love of everything anime, but it's kind of like the love of everything Japan, to be absolutely honest. I mean, like, I'm kind of tempted to walk up to somebody and be like, so which anime is Pocky from? You know, and have them just kind of sit there and go like, oh, as I'm sitting there like, foo, 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 ki. So anyway, enough anime jokes, because, yeah, I don't think that we want to have anime mixing with our 40K. I think I've gotten that around. Let's put it in one more. Let's put it in one more. In Warhammer 40K, the Horus Heresy Facebook group. Another excellent group. There's a lot of really good communities online on Facebook. If you're interested in Warhammer 40,000 content, you want to see people's models, you want to see their costumes, you want to listen to their fan fictions, you want to see their battle lists, you want to read their reports, you want to get in on their questions and topics and all of that. There's tons of Warhammer 40,000 groups on Facebook that are excellent. So now that I'm going to share these around, I'm going to be, let's move the camera somewhere. So I'm probably going to be doing this over here. Move this table, get a little armpit action there. Alrighty, let's see if we can get a good angle here. How's that? That is terrible. Okay, let's see what we can do. So, Space Marine that I'm going to be portraying with my costume is Slaith the Space Marine. Not Mr. Space Marine, although Mr. Space Marine and Slaith the Space Marine may be the same guy. Haven't really figured that much out on the continuity level yet. So I'm going to start with this. I'm thinking I'm gonna start with the red paint because I want to start with like the brighter color before I go with over top of it with like black on the rims. So for this shoulder pad, and I've got the hook in there to hold it onto the thing. So the blue one, that's the blue hook. This will be the red shoulder pad, and then it gets kind of confusing because there's the one with the red hook, and that one's going to be the black shoulder pad. So that's going to be all sorts of confusing. Go on you now. No. So I'm going to be painting this black. No. Red. I'm going to be painting this red. And then this rim is going to be silver. So I'm going to be, or like a metallic. And then I'm going to be highlighting the edges of it with like a just brighter metallic. So that way it's going to have, I don't know, highlighted edges. You know, it's going to have some detailing. And then at one point, I guess I'm going to have to do, I don't know, like some kind of wash, I guess. I don't know if that's necessary, but some kind of brown paint, really thin it out with some water, and then just slap it on. Not sure what the problem with there was. That was weird. Okay, so it's live. Is it gonna kick off again? I'm just gonna give it a second just to watch this to see if it dies again. I don't know what that was about then. Weird. So it's mixed up some of this paint, which, yeah, this looks like it's not quite the same color as the other parts I have. So I'm pretty sure this will be the base coat, and then I'm gonna go over it with some bright red. Okay. A little bit of toilet paper. Clean off my mixing stick here. There we go. Nice. All right. So that's not the color that I'm going to want in the end, but it's at least a start. It's a base coat. So I just bought some cheap dollar store brushes. Like, I don't know, and these are tiny compared to, like, this is going to take a while to get this all on here, but I mean, whatever. I mean, that's fine. So let's see. Can I raise this up somehow? Like, how can we get this so you guys can see it? Is that gonna work? We'll figure this out. This will work. I'll get it to work. There, perfect. Now let me get myself a stool. All right. So, what do I want to talk about? This has been in the works since, what, 2012, 2013-ish? It's been in the works for a while, and I'm really happy that it's here now, although it's going to be a headache to get this all kind of done, but whatever. So I'm just going to start right here from the top, I think. Right there. Just spreading that on just a little bit. So yeah, that looks kind of whatever. crash out? Is this how this works now? Like, does the iPad suck? Does YouTube suck? Is it my internet? Like, I mean, it's weird. It's not even like it's freezing up. It's going right to like the main screen, like the home screen. The fuck is this? No, fuck. I don't need monetization on this. Doesn't like to stick to certain things. I wonder if that's... I don't know what that is. Weird. I'm wondering if I thinned this down too much, but whatever. I can still go back and do another coat. It's probably better that way anyway. And then probably after another coat, it'll be easier to get some of those dark spots that don't seem to want to have the paint adhese to it very much. Someone could say, are you thinning your paints? It's like, yeah, I might even thin them a bit too much. Thin your paints and drill your barrel holes. Okay, so, I don't know, let's see, what do I want to talk about? How about, I'll talk about my Space Marines, the Bloodhounds. It's been a while since I've done anything talking about the Bloodhounds. So, the character I'm going to be in this, Slaith Darkseer, he's, one of the Bloodhounds who went to Necromunda, or some hive world, if Necromunda is a little bit too cheesy, but whatever. He went to like a hive world and was either, I forget if it was the one survivor or if he was one of the survivors of a demon attack, because there was a bunch of murders or something like that. For some reason, the Space Marines were called in because it was, I guess, like the PDF or the, what do I want to call them? The Arbite. They weren't able to handle it, right? So they're going through, they're trying to find whatever creature is there. You know, they think it's some kind of creature. Turns out it's a demon. The demon kills most off the squad. And then it's left to, who was it? I think it was Slaith Darkseer and I think a Marine called Darvis, I think. I might have that mixed up with the Siege of Volstrom. But either way, so there's Slaith. Let's go into the deep backstory. Let's go into the complete heretical backstory of this. So Slaith Darkseer was chosen to be a Space Marine during the, I guess, the Great Crusade. While the Emperor was looking for his Primarchs, and I guess was creating the legions for them in the first place, he discovered Slaith Darkseer, and it's not like he was like, you know, oh, this is one of my sons or anything, but then he put them into the Space Marine project. and Slaith pretty much comes from like planet Wild Wild West, so it's like cowboy world kind of thing. And then the Emperor shows up, and what was it? Slaith is like a gunslinger character, and there's something about him that he's like. Long story short, I kind of had to retcon my own little story here because of finding out about certain other, I guess, features or certain types of people. So I've kind of just retconned it or changed it so that way he's a perpetual, or is like a perpetual, because the Emperor and gives him like a will thing and goes like, drop your guns, and then and he didn't drop them immediately, so the Emperor was like, well, knocks him out with like psychic powers, ships him off to become a space marine, brings him back, ships him off to Terra. Now, most of the Bloodhounds, well, I guess the original Bloodhounds, were all on Terra while they were being trained, because they weren't really being trained in a typical sense or in a generic sense. They were well, I guess a lot of Space Marines do this. They were being mind conditioned. They were being like stasis trained, and there was going to be, like when I wrote this in, they were going to be initially debuted in front of like all the legions or in front of like the 20 Primarchs, but then as the Horus Heresy broke out, the Bloodhounds became somewhat forgotten and left under Terra, or at least under the surface of Terra, not knowing that the Emperor pretty much abandoned the project, or forgot about it, or maybe he didn't. I can't really. It's kind of hard to say what kind of traits, to borrow another character and go, oh, well, yeah, in my story they do this. There's always going to be someone who goes, what? The Emperor would never forget. So they kind of get left there, and it's essentially it was the battle on Terra that kind of woke them up. But now I digress. I guess I should talk more about the character. I don't know. So Slaith is a character. He's a space marine that was left on like originally it was Necromunda. But I mean, like, really, it could be any hive world. It doesn't really need to be Necromunda. And one of the things about the character is that I drew some inspiration. Like when I made him up in like 2001 or whatever, there was some inspiration from things like the movie Aliens. With like Michael Bihn's character with Hicks. There was. There's a little bit of Marshall Rayner from StarCraft in there. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Because Slaith, being this kind of cowboy gunslinger type, and having maybe somewhat vague memories of his past life, or maybe like snapbacks, whatever you want to call it. That's not looking too bad. It's kind of looking a little bit Deathstroke right now, so I think I want to fix that. I want to get rid of the other side now. I don't want to have Slade Wilson going on here. So he goes to the planet. And after when it's kind of like his own story, after like that initial one that explains why he's on the Hive planet, or in the Hive city, he would end up fighting the gangs and stuff because he was there to kind of watch over shit. but he would fight the gangs and then declared himself the marshal of the high city. But not like Grand Marshal, not like the space all space marines start with space. Not like the Black Templars who have the high marshals and stuff like that, but more kind of like I'm the marshal round these parts kind of thing. As much as that still really has kind of the same meaning because it's the same kind of rank, you know, it's kind of like I don't know if I had to compare him to anything, and some people had to kind of correct me on this, which I'm happy that they did. He's kind of like U.S. Rangers. I just don't want to call them Space Marine Rangers. I just thought Marshal sounded cooler. And at first, the Marshal thing was just like a nickname that he kind of gave himself, you know, like, I'm the Marshal. And then later on, I kind of took that and went like, well, wait, maybe I could turn that into a thing. And then that kind of became really confusing for some people because they were like, but that's not what a Marshal is. And it's like, okay. Down the side here. So after this, you know, I'm not going to worry too much about being a little bit messy here because I can fix that up later on. Some people were asking me, do I plan on having sound effects in the suit? And it's like, you know, I just kind of want to have this thing all together in one piece, you know, at least, and then I can think about that kind of stuff later. And a lot of people were telling me, you know, you will need some type of coolant system no matter where you're living. It doesn't matter if you're in nice, cool Canada. You will need a fan or something. And, okay, so I took apart my old PC, the one that was fried from, I think, last summer. It's kind of why I stopped making videos last year or whatever, because I couldn't really produce them. So I took the fan from that. I'm gonna have to figure out some kind of battery. I'm gonna need like a 12 volt, and then I'm gonna stick that into the torso of the suit, and hopefully that'll be able to give at least somewhat relief. I know it's not going to be perfect because it's just going to be one small little computer fan, and you know I'm going to be in this big foam suit, so it's not going to be the most comfortable ride, but at least it'll be something. I'd rather have something than nothing. And plus, I could always just, you know, go outside and take a breather, or take the suit off or whatever. But then again, who in their right mind would want to take off a Space Marine suit? No one, that's who. Kind of just going all over the place right now. Should probably be paying more attention to the strokes. I don't want to have a bunch of brush strokes. Then again, that's going to be really unavoidable with using a paintbrush. There will be brush strokes. I mean, some people could say, oh, well, you know, if you use this type of chemical solvent and this type of brush, and da 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 da. And then there's going to be the other people who go, not if you use an airbrush. And it's just like, okay, you go sit down now because you don't understand context. Or you're just a pedantic dick. Alright, so let's get a little bit more paint on the spots that didn't want to collect some. And then really I could probably just let this thing dry a tiny little bit and then put on another coat. Help get some of those spots where it's not wanting to stay. This middle part here. How are we doing? Pretty good. I wonder what was up with those things before, why it was glitching out before. That on. Start going this way. Now, because I'm kind of, to be honest, I'm kind of rushing this job because I've got maybe a month and I have no idea how long it's going to take me to get this all done. I'm a total amateur with all this. And so I'm kind of just painting over some of this kind of dirty, kind of quick. Like there's still seams and stuff. But I figure, you know, this suit's going to probably live for quite a while and I could probably update it. I could probably strip the paint. I could probably sand it down. Like this thing is going to last a while. I could probably just even recoat it with something else. A lot of people are telling me to use Plasti Dip, and it's just like, you know, right now I just need to make sure that I get an even texture amongst the whole thing. Okay, I have no idea why it's not sitting there. I hope that's not like silicone or something. Oh, whatever, it'll just take a little bit more paint. I'm definitely thinking this left to right thing is going to look better for the brush strokes. It already kind of looks better that way than going up and down. Now, these top parts are going to kind of bug me. Now I'm thinking maybe after a few layers of paint, that'll probably, I don't know, add enough texture to be able to adhese to, but I don't know. All right, so let this thing dry for a little bit. Otherwise, I'm not going to get much more on there. But that's looking pretty good for a start. Okay, put this up here. All right. then that thing's gonna dry there. Maybe just let that dry for like 10 minutes or whatever, just so I can get some extra coats on. Now this next part's gonna be difficult. I have no idea how I'm gonna do this right now. I'm gonna have to do this in sections, considering I actually have the legs attached in now into the pants. Let's pull the suspenders up here. So the legs just kind of dangle there, right? So I'm probably gonna need to flip this upside down. And then I'm gonna need to like, I don't know, maybe if I can get these inside, so that way they're not, does that even work? No, I don't think so. That is like all the way around. Actually, I think I'm going to do the black one in first, because black thighs matter. Now, I'm going to put that one in first because I don't want the red paint to get onto it. And then I'm going to put the red one resting on top of that because if some red gets onto it, it's not that big of a deal. There we go. It's kind of the best we're going to get it, isn't it? Now, this, I have a feeling this is going to be difficult. This is not going to be the easy part. Okay, so I'm going to get some water to drink, because my water's fine for the Okay. Some water. What do we got going on here? Okay. Hey Darren, I hope you're watching. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully get this ready for Comic-Con. I have until October 27th. So Winnipeg, Manitoba, October 27th to 29th at the RBC Convention Center. Be there, C4 Comic-Con. I have a few people who are going to be attending, who have been trying to go with me. A few people. I know at least two. I know two people, and they're both going to be, I think, dressing up as commissars. So if I'm going to be the Space Marine, there's going to be these two commissars going around. That's going to be pretty interesting. Taking a quick break. Maybe make some tea or something. That'd be good. How's the live stream working? Is it going? I'm going to quickly just check it. I'm going to check my own live stream and see if it's working. That's how much faith I have in my iPad today. That's actually not looking that bad. So what do we got here? Come on phone. So what do we got here? Come on phone. Perfect. So what do we got here? Come on. Awesome. Okay. Oh, what's this? It looks like I have to do some of the... I guess I didn't do the inside of this leg part here. That's not good. Now, maybe if I can actually... I think this will work. Take this plastic bag. Just kind of... No, it's not going to be big enough for that. So what I'm going to do instead is just kind of sheet it over to this. One of the problems I had with some of the other parts I painted on, like last year or whatever, was some of the red ended up dripping down the black, so it looks like it's got this it's like this, I don't know, this streak of red. So, all right, looks good. Okay, no idea where to start with this. Let's start with the belt. It's right there. It's right in my face. A bit too much paint there, perhaps. Now I expect this to probably go on really well on all of this because this part was actually done by my friend Mike. And he had actually brushed it on so that I can see strokes all over this thing. I mean, I'm not discrediting his work. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that the texture of the chalkboard paint that he used, I'm thinking because it was a powder, because he put brush strokes on, that there's going to be a little bit more texture for the paint to grip onto here. Still, it's really thin though. I think I thinned that down a little bit too much, but that's fine. It's all right for just a base coat. I do want to get behind here though, because I don't think that he got that with the primer. And I'm thinking it's just going to bug me. Yeah, there's some parts on the sides that got missed, but whatever. That's fine. When I went to, I think it was Icon, might have been Comic-Con, I forget. One of the conventions in the city here, there was somebody who came dressed as a tech priest. And I didn't even expect that. Like, I didn't even, like, I know Warhammer's somewhat popular here, but at the same time, it's not the most known thing. So I didn't expect it to be somewhat of a, I hate saying it, but somewhat of a mainstream event. Didn't quite expect it. And I remember that year I had come in as the Punisher, but with bolt pistols. So seeing the tech priest there kind of made my day, because it was like, well, I'm somewhat of a crossover 40K character here at Icon. Yeah, it was yeah, now that I think about it, it was Icon for sure. Met a lot of great people at those conventions. But this one, I mean, I was supposed to have this ready. Now let's see if you can do your research online, if you can figure this out. I was supposed to have this costume ready for the Comic-Con in Winnipeg, where Jason David Frank was going to come in. And I remember I was so excited to get to meet the Green Power Ranger, and I was like messaging him too, going like, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna have this like awesome armor. Like, you're gonna be excited to come to come to Winnipeg." And I remember him even saying like, "All right, I'll watch out for you," right? And then it never happened at that year. And Jason David Frank got sent back to the States because he didn't have the right visa. What a joke. Like, he got turned away at the border because he had like selfie shots and some merch, and he had the wrong visa, and it's just like, fuck. Don't you think somebody should have like had that set up in advance? Like, somebody should have somebody dropped the ball on that one. And I'm not gonna blame the border guard. I'm honestly, someone on JDF there, someone on his management. I don't know if it was him doing it personally or if he has somebody that handles that for him, but unfortunately the Green Ranger dropped the ball. But the Blue Ranger and the Black Ranger did show up here in Winnipeg. So, in a way, they've kind of surpassed the Green Power Ranger. Because they could do the one thing that he couldn't do. Show up. But, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't malicious or anything like that. Like, he just couldn't go. He couldn't make it. But still. I mean, come on. You were Tommy. Don't you know? Think of all the sad 30-year-old faces that are all going, "Oh, my hero, he didn't show up." I'm sure he's all right. But the same day, though, he ended up he flew back to the States. And on the same day, he went to another con. I forget which one he did. And I remember he messaged Icon at the time going, "All right, you fuckers," kind of thing. Like, "You didn't want me here in your country? Well, here I am at another place that knows how to take care of me." You know, I was like, damn. I'm going to try to get all our way around, I think, before doing that front side. So yeah, finally, this will be ready. I'm excited. And then hopefully it will also inspire more people here in Winnipeg to do some more 40K costumes and cosplay. I think that we definitely need some more of that. I think everywhere needs more of that. I always see these pictures, it's just like, Oh, I entered the costume contest and I won like the best ever of everness award. Oh, what were you? Oh, I was a Sister of Battle. Oh. Okay then. You see those all the time. Actually, it's kind of interesting that comparatively to like the modeling, like to the game, where sisters are like they have a great cult following in a sense. Like they have a lot of people who want them to be like in the game. And they make their own scratch builds and all sorts of stuff. But unfortunately they're not that popular, so they don't really get played too much, and there's not a lot of demand to make new stuff for them. But out in the cosplay community, Sisters of Battle are probably, well, other than maybe Commissars actually, but Sisters of Battle are pretty common. That part coming up. Okay, I hope I don't have to glue that together. Otherwise it's just more work and it's ugly. Now this is my first time actually working on a big cosplay build. And I'm really just doing the finishing parts to it. So a lot of the work you see here, a lot of the credit goes to a fabulous prop builder. I want to say a good friend of mine. Because most of the time, if I was doing cosplay, what I'd be doing would be just putting on just different combinations of clothes, right? Like if I wanted to be a certain character, I would just put on regular clothes that that character wears, or that if you put it in tandem with a bunch of other stuff, all of a sudden becomes their costume or their uniform. Like one of the ones that I do most often, you know, a bunch of people really liked it, was Frank Castle Punisher. Now the one I do, I would want to say it's kind of like a hybrid of somewhat comic, because like I don't have white boots, so I wear like big black leather construction boots, and it's got like a black trench coat and then like the Punisher shirt and stuff like that, right? But I don't do like the skull belt and things like that. So it's kind of a mix of like the movie, not the Dolph Lundgren one, and not Warzone or whatever. The one that everyone hates with John Travolta. I don't know, I'm like the only one in the world that likes that movie. So I kind of based it somewhat off of that, and maybe a little bit off of Punisher from the Spider-Man animated series, at least the first time. The first time I did a Punisher cosplay, I have I have two trench coats. I have a brown one and a black one. And the first time I went in with the brown one, and I had a bunch of people being like, "The Punisher doesn't wear a brown trench coat." And it's like, well, sometimes he does. You know, sometimes, yeah, he does. Why not? Okay. Get this right around the belt. Lots of strokes on here, but whatever. See, I'm not sure if I can get away with this. Actually, no, some of this stuff's probably not a good idea, considering I might want to be adding things, but whatever. You know what? I just kind of want to get some of these steps done. I can fix everything and make everything pretty later. But, what was I saying? I lost track of thought. Slip a little bit there. Yeah, I mean, considering there's some things I wanted to do, like I kind of want to do that magnet trick, and so if I want to do that, then I might need to drill into this or like bare some holes into this, and then that would mean that I'm gonna have to cover some stuff up with some more paint again. I don't know. Some people are saying like, "Oh, you got so much time," and it's like it doesn't feel like that. Well, you got a month. Yeah, I know. I've only got a month left. And I'm a bad procrastinator on things, so I mean, I want to make sure I get things done. Well, that's looking good after like another like half a coat there. Not looking too bad. I'm gonna try to get some of that upper area there that I have at the bottom. And then once I get that, because I'll let this dry. Try to even some of this out. So yeah, some of the projects that I've been working on have been put on hold for a while. Like there was a while where I was working on that 40K zombies music video, which I still want to add more to. I would still like to be able to make it more complete. I just don't have a model for Takio and Nikolai yet. As soon as I get one, though. So if you want to see more of those, I don't know, leave a comment or something. I don't know. Tell me you want to see more zombies videos. Pull some of this paint out because it's kind of looking a couple spots where it's a bit bare there. This part right here doesn't seem to want to make one right underneath the belt. I mean, fortunately, that's not really going to be seen. Okay, time to clean the brush. Oh. Oh, okay. We'll stretch. I guess doing that, I don't know, like that belly part, like right here, I don't know, that's... I guess I just have to be a little bit lower down, really, that's all. Just sit maybe on the floor. Oh, actually, seeing it on the camera, see, like, you don't see some of the things that I see. But it's looking alright. Let's get it upside down. Yeah. Sweet. I guess this part, though, is going to be a bit tough. So I might have to do that. Ugh, and another coat, a different layer or something like that. What do we got here? Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Back stiffing up here. And then, so after I get all these done, I don't want to get it on my pants. I don't want it on my pants. So after these get all done, what's going on here with this? And that might need a few layers, and then I don't know if you can sand down paint to smooth down paint. I hope you can. And oh yeah, come on, Abby. Abby the cat. How much paint do I have in here now? Should be enough. Should be lots. Should be lots. So yeah, it's kind of like I'm painting a really big model. Like I've shrunk and I'm using the fine detail models, or I'm just using like a bristle. I'm going, all right, let's paint the Space Marine. I've got my bristle. Let's do this. Okay, so I guess I gotta get on the floor. which that's not going to be comfy. Oh, okay. I think I want to get this first. I want to get this like this whole plate here at the front before I move on to anything else. I'm going to try to mix this paint up a little bit. Maybe it's getting a little bit too watery. Maybe I could add some more paint. It was a bit thin this whole time. Then again, a thin first coat that's all right. Yeah, I'm gonna get all around the edges again. Oh, great! Yeah, so, oh, it's been an adventure. I think one of my favorite parts of this suit that I've liked was adding the car mats to the soles of the boots. So there's actually like a tread on my boot. It's not just exposed foam or like just flat or something. There's actually something there protecting the foam and giving a nice little detail as well. I'm thinking, do I want to try to get this underside here while I'm here now? I mean, I have to do it kind of thin or else it's going to drip. This is the upside down part. And set that built part. That's the upper side. Yeah, that's the one that's kind of hidden right now. That's the side that has the some of the foam not sealed. I'll just go over that with a little bit of paint, and then it'll absorb a bit because it's not sealed. But it's also such a small spot that it'll take a little bit more paint, but it's not gonna like dramatically add a bunch of weight. Wait a minute, can I just turn this? Yeah, I can just turn this. Jeez, I'm stupid. Okay. Well, that's a lot easier, just doing that. Now, really, I don't even think it needs to go this high, but it's just a precaution because if it does tilt up, I don't want it to be all of a sudden just like a different color. And I'd rather the whole thing have a similar treatment to it. Hey, what's up, Abby? And this armor, this suit, this Space Marine suit was actually dedicated to Abby's brother when he passed away. I was going to, I mean, there was some time constraints and some things never got off the ground, so it's fine. I mean, I can do it myself. But it was going to have an engraving on the inside of the suit where it said Tim. Tim was Abby's brother. Well, I guess he still is. Yeah, he didn't make it very long. He only made it to be about 2. And since then, it's just been Abby and me. So yeah, this is dedicated to her brother. Considering he liked to scratch up everything, I'm sure he would have loved to scratch this thing. How are we doing that? We're at an hour. Okay. Move this again. I think I was told if I do this right, which I'm probably not going to, but if I do, that the paint itself might even, like as much as some of the seams are probably going to be almost in like highlighted because they're now in paint, that some of them actually might get filled up, some of the tiny little gaps and spaces and things, that then it gets filled up. Yeah, because I thought she was attracted to me, and you didn't seem like you were. That's how it was. You didn't seem like you were interested, and she did, so I moved on. I do have a pretty good idea, actually, if I wanted to pop on some music. I think I know the perfect music that I could pop on that I don't believe would have any or many copyright issues, because I don't think anybody who had a copyright on that song, even or the songs, even know they still exist. Turn this back, actually. There's parts over there that I missed. And that under part, and then actually maybe I could probably come back and do these on a second coat. Still, it's right in front of me. I might as well. We're the Dream Warriors. Dream Warriors. All right. That wasn't the song, by the way. But I could probably get away with singing some songs. Why not? Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Or more like, get out of my way. I can do anything. Get out of my way. I can do it all. Get out of my way. I can do anything. Get out of my way. I can do it all. Get out of my way. I can do anything. Get out of my way. I can do it all. Get out of my way. I can do anything. Get out of my way. I can do it all. I can do it. Some good old D-Rock. Now, if you don't recognize D-Rock, that would be because you're a young pup. I'm a young pup, then again, that makes you younger. So D-Rock was a band produced by Warhammer Studios or something like that. Back in was it late 80s, early 90s or something like that. GW actually had a few commissioned bands. Kind of like I'm not sure if this is entirely accurate. I'm just going to compare this to kind of like how Treyarch and Activision have Kevin Sherwood and Elena Sigmund make all their songs in the Zombies games. So I have no idea if they do things other than Zombies. I've never seen them do anything else. But D-Rock and Bolt Thrower, these were two different bands. These were both bands by Games Workshop, and they were advertised in White Dwarf. You can hear some of the soundtrack in the PC game Space Hulk. Good songs. My personal favorites are Get Out of My Way, Noise Marines, World Eater's pretty good. And that's from D-Rock, I think. I kind of forget what Bolt Thrower had. I was only 17, put it all together, yeah. Get some more even coats. I'm gonna have to let this thing dry a little bit before I can really give it a proper second coat, though. It's looking great, though. It's just gonna need to get a couple more coats, maybe one or two more coats of this, and then a little bit of that bright red just to bring out the proper color that I want to. So maybe like another coat of that. And then and after that, more or less good. But I still need to get some more primer because I ran out when I was priming the shoulders. So I'm not going to be able to do all of the rest of the parts. So I'm still going to have the torso and the backpack. Which I imagine to be kind of difficult. Because to get those done, I'm going to need to cover up the Velcro which connects them, then spray them, and then what else do I need to do at that point? Then I can start painting it. And the torso section is going to be a bit different because it's not just going to be like all red like this that I can just go for it and just slap right on there. There's going to be this blue eagle as well. So I'm going to have to take my time with that one. I'm thinking it would probably be easier to just do all the red first on the torso, and then after that's all cured, then kind of I don't know, like frog tape. Kind of just tape it off a little bit so that way there's a bit of a buffer, and then just paint the eagle. Because I don't want it to be like a purple eagle all of a sudden, you know, I'm like mixing the red and the blue here, and it's like, well, that's not at all what I wanted. Yeah, today is a nice rainy day here in Winnipeg. Kind of stuck inside anyway. Might as well be doing this. What do you mean there's stuff other than this? Isn't this all there is to life? Waiting for the rain. Pull me in. I ain't got no sympathy. Soldier boy, don't mess with me. Get out of my way. I can do anything. It looks like no paint is sticking underneath there. I have no idea why. I'm just gonna have to just dab it in there like this. Just hopefully that adds a little texture that I can paint to underneath. Because it really is, it doesn't need to be pretty behind the belt buckle and underneath it. But as long as it's there, it'll be good, because then I'd rather have it just be complete like that. I'm not getting paint in my bed, am I? I am! Oh no! Oh no! Well, what can you do? Okay. So this part seems like it's pretty well covered, for now at least. I may want to get some of those insert parts. Don't know yet. Okay. So, move it this way. Because the whole thing's wet, I can't really lift it up. My Kanto badge is out of here. My Kanto badges! Kanto badges. Alright. Let's put those there for now, why not? Space Marine. It's my Space Marine. Oh, it's good having a bad sense of humor. Alright. Well, I've been going for just an hour now. Okay. Let's see how much paint we have here. I have a decent bit left, so I could probably start working on that shoulder again. I do kind of want to take a rest, though. I'm going to take a quick break. See, I'm going to have to work out some actual limitations that I have when wearing this thing, because last year, I mean, as much as I've gotten a lot better, but last year, that was not nice. I suffered a pretty bad back injury. Like, not like the spine, but like was a muscle injury in the back. And since then, there's just been a lot of muscle tension, locks up. If I'm like sitting certain ways and things like that, so I need to take some breaks. So the thing about what I'm getting at is with this suit is that it's going to be pressing against my back. There's going to be all sorts of weight. It's going to be pressing against my shoulders. It's going to be quite a lot. What time is it now? It's almost 5. It's Sunday. And alrighty. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do it. Do it.
just to get to the other side was better than having nothing at all. There's an atmosphere full of thoughts and ideas waiting to be cut by the right mind. So put me in, baby, I'll do my thing. I ain't got no sympathy, so boy, don't mess with me. Get out of my way. I can do anything. Get out of my way. I can do it all. Get out of my way. I can do anything. Get out of my way. I can do it all. I can do it all. Do it. I can do it all. Do it. Do it. I can do it all. I can do it. Do it. I can do it all.
One thing that's kind of funny is when I do the other pad, I've painted it with chalkboard as the primer, but I'm gonna have to go over top of it with black paint, and it's funny because it like is black paint. But still, I'm gonna want to go over it just so that way I have the proper amount of coats and that way it's properly filling everything in and. Make sure that I don't get anything like I don't know, like a one shade off. Everything's gotta be perfect. No, it's not gonna be like that. It's gonna be pretty good. this shoulder pad's looking pretty good now. It's got a couple coats on it. It's looking pretty nice. It's not the exact color I want, but I'm going to fix that later on. Another color. Let's see. It's looking pretty damn good. It's going to need a little bit of attention in the future, but it's manageable. Just slap some paint on there. Okay, I think that that's probably the most I'm going to get on the shoulder pad for now. I don't want to do too much right now. I'll let this sit here. I'm trying to get that guy. That there. How's this doing? Some of that's still a little bit wet. And then after I'm done here, we're gonna let it go for a bit, and then I may pick up later. I mean, what time is it now? 5. This bottom part definitely needs some attention. Sort of like that. So it really feels like there's not much time left, even though I've got like a whole month to get this thing finished. It's almost like it's like, oh no, it's tomorrow. Maybe it is. Maybe I just built up the illusion in my head that I've got lots of time, but it really is tomorrow. Who knows? I have no idea what it is just now. Nothing important. So let's play another song. A number of years ago, I was doing this thing called the weekly admin report. This was going to be our intro theme. I was going to just use it. And the other guy was like, no, I don't like it.
come the noise. Here come the noise. Satisfaction guarantee you, baby, I know it's true. Life is just a lot of noise. Standing out with you won't meddle with the boys. Baby, I know it's true. Here come the noise. Here come the noise. So loud, I wanna die. Shake it up, baby. Don't be shy. We're so loud, I wanna die. Go for it. Here come the noisy breeze. Here come the noisy breeze.
Pizza! Well, almost out of paint, and that's good. That's a perfect time to be running out of paint here. Almost done all these coats how I pretty much wanted them at the moment. This will at least make visual, like motion tests will at least look a lot better with all these colors in there. And again, I'm not sure if I want to do a bunch of motion tests while I'm still painting this thing. I'm probably going to want to hold off on those, at least for a little bit. Unless someone really, really wants one, then maybe. And it'll be all like, oh, you're in color. In color. Now, in Technicolor, Space Marines. Where did that paint go? Just kind of like launched off my brush there. And I'm just hoping that I'm not gonna like fall asleep later and there's just gonna be this like little bit of wet paint in my bed and I'm just gonna wake up and there's like red all over me or whatever and be like, what the hell? So that last song was World Eater. And after I read somebody mention that it sounds like they say, ooh, pizza. I can't unhear it, actually. The beginning of that song. They kind of sound like Death Clock. Death Clock, or whatever the fuck they're called. I don't care. Metalocalypse? Or is that the TV show? It doesn't really matter. Sounds like that guy. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. Kind of slapping paint on here and there. Just trying to cover the spots where it's not so... where it's not so even. Just trying to even this out a bit. Looks like most of the parts of the paint. Okay. You go away. A lot of it's on this part. You can't even be civil with someone. You're incapable. incapable of being civil. Just drop some paint there in this little spot here. Because it seems like none of the paint, the red, wanted to stay in there, so it's just like this dark zone here. Dark zone? I remember laser tag. That seems like mostly it for now. Can't really do too much more. Front part again. Nice. Nice last coat on there for now. That's kind of like the most noticeable part of the cod piece. It's just front and center. This belt buckle thing. Okay, how much paint we got here? Well, let's just slap some under here. Get the dying breaths of this paint on here. All right. I think we're almost done for today. And so far, in what I've gotten done today, I'm pretty happy with. This is pretty nice. I take a few more steps. And then once this is all cured, then I'll probably maybe try go for maybe for one other coat, brighten up the red. Let's see if I can maybe. Fix this a bit. I want that. All right, well, that's the work we got today. We got pants, we got the shoulder, just about 2 hours. All right, well, I'm going to call this a close for tonight, and thanks for watching. I'll maybe pick this up tomorrow. The Mr. Space Marine show has been put on hiatus until this is finished. Also because the helmet is damaged, so Mr. Space Marine will return in another episode, and we'll have a spiffy new paint job. So, my name's Max. This is Slate the Space Marine. Semper Fi. Semper Gumby.